Mm-hmm. So just let me know when. Give me 3, 2, 1.
Like 6 seconds.
I don't know if anybody watches, but anyway.
It's already live in YouTube, but he has to press in Facebook.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakti. And if that is where the devotees are, then we're speaking to everybody. But anyway, that is helpful because we like to speak, not just like something and something. We want to speak directly. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara.
Sorry, is it okay if I close the door and switch more lights because
Yeah, can you put the camera here so we're talking to the people, everybody at the same time?
I know it's closer, but the wires are connecting it to the streamer.
Okay, anyway, it's just a thought. It makes it that we are not like doing 2 separate programs, we're doing 1 program for everybody. Anyway, tell me when we're online and we'll continue. Oh, we're online, okay. Dear devotees around the world, as well as devotees who are here, then it's now 7 and something, 7 o'clock and a bit, here in London, West London Temple, and the morning reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and as we are doing at the moment, reading from original source by Srila Gurudev. And the morning arati completed, the Guru worship completed, Tulsi worship completed, and bhajans for the last while. And now here we are. And so first we read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai Jai Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Radev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Jai Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai and Jai Srila Prabhupada Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai and Jai Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaka ki Jai. And let us start with the reading from more or less where we left off yesterday. Mahaprabhu is with Sanatana Goswami in Kashi, also known as Banaras, also known as Varanasi, a holy city on the banks of the Ganges. And Mahaprabhu is on his way back to Puri. He's with Sanatana Goswami, and various things happened yesterday. And now, Sanatana Goswami is going to inquire from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then yesterday we finished on these verses 95, 96. So we're Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 20 verses 95 and 96. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is narrating. We read these 2 verses yesterday, but they start us off, they get us in context for today. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. So the translation for 95 and 96 verses is: formerly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked Ramananda Roy spiritual questions. And by the Lord's causeless mercy, Ramananda Roy could properly reply. Now, by the Lord's mercy, Sanatana Goswami questioned to the Lord, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally supplied the truth. So now, still continuing, so Krishna's Kaviraj is writing. Krishna Svarupa Madhuryayish Varya Bhakti Rasashrayam Tattvang Sanatana Yeshaha Kripayopadidesha Shaha. So Krishna's Kaviraj writing, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, personally told Sanatana Goswami about Lord Krishna's real identity. He also told him about the Lord's conjugal love, his personal opulence, and the rasas of devotional service. All these truths were explained to Sanatana Goswami by the Lord himself out of his causeless mercy. Tabe, then Sanatana Prabhura Charane, so Prabhu, we know in Chaitanya Charitamrita is almost always referring to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Prabhura of Mahaprabhu, Charane, Charan, feet, Charane, feet, Dhariya, clasped. So Tabe Sanatana Prabhura Charane Dhariya. Dainya Vinati Kore Dante Trina Loya. Dainya, humility. Vinati, bowing down. Kore is to do. Dante, teeth. Trina, Trinadapi Sunichana. What's Trina? What's Trina? Anybody know what is Trina?
Grass.
Grass, thank you. I know you all got that at home. Trina is grass. And so, Dante, Trina, Kori, or straw, like that. So, Tabe, Sanatana, Prabhura, Charane, Dhariya, Doinya, Vinati, Kori, Dante, Trina, Loya. So, putting a straw in his mouth, often the translations are like not first and second. So, second line first. Putting a straw in his mouth and bowing down, Sanatana Goswami clasped the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and humbly spoke as follows. You see, it's a loose translation also. It's a colloquial translation to keep us going. So what did Sanatana Goswami say? Nicha jati, nicha sangi, patita adhama, kuvishaya, that I don't know, kuvishaya kupe, in a well of material enjoyment. Okay, kuvishaya kupe, pari, gonainu janama, I have passed my life. Sanatana Goswami said, I was born in a low family, and my associates are all low-class men. I myself am fallen, and am the lowest of men. Indeed, I have passed my whole life fallen in the well of sinful materialism. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll read the purport for this. Jai Srila Prabhupada giving us the purports here. It's a short purport. Actually, Srila Sanatana Goswami belonged to a Brahmana family because he belonged to the Sarasvata division of the Brahmanas and was well-cultured and well-educated. Somehow or other, he accepted a ministership in the government of the cow-eaters. Therefore, he had to associate with meat-eaters, drunkards, and gross materialists. Sanatana Goswami considered himself fallen, for in the association of such men, he also fell victim to material enjoyment. Having passed his life in that way, he considered that he had wasted his valuable time. This statement about how one can become fallen in this material world is made by the greatest authority in the Gauriya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Sanatana Goswami. Actually, the whole world is presently fallen into material existence. Everyone is a meat-eater, drunkard, woman hunter, man hunter, gambler, and whatnot. People are enjoying material life by committing the 4 basic sins: Although they are fallen, if they simply submit themselves at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will be saved from sinful reactions. So, good idea to surrender to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Next verse. Sanatana Goswami is saying, I do not know what is beneficial for me or what is detrimental. Nonetheless, in ordinary dealings, people consider me a learned scholar, and I am also thinking of myself as such. Out of your, speaking to Mahaprabhu, he's got the teeth, that straw in his teeth, bowed down. Out of your causeless mercy, you have delivered me from the materialistic path. Now, by the same causeless mercy, please tell me what my duty is. I'm going to read that verse in Bengali. Kripa kori jadi more kari acha udhara. Apana kripate kaho kartavya amara. And this kartavya is apana kripate kartavya amara. Oh, my duty. Kartavya. Please tell me what my duty is, that last part. Kaho kartavya amara. Tell me my duty. Then, classic verse. Ke ami. Kene amaya jare tapatraya. Iha nahi jani kemone hita hoya. Who am I? Why do the threefold miseries always give me trouble? If I do not know this, how can I be benefited? Sadhya, sadhana, tattva, puchite, na jani. So sadhya, sadhana, tattva, puchite, na jani. Kripa kori sabba tattva kahata apani. So you please tell me what these are. Actually, I do not know how to inquire about the goal of life and the process for obtaining it. Being merciful upon me, please explain all these truths. Okay, remember the translation? Then the verse again. Sadhya, sadhana, tattva, puchite na jani, kripa kori sabba tattva kohota apani. So please you tell me all the truths, all these truths. Then Prabhu kohe means? Prabhu kohe means?
Prabhu said.
Who is Prabhu?
Mahaprabhu.
Very good. Okay, Prabhu kohe. Krishna kripa Tomma te purna hoya sabba tattva jana tomara nahi tapatraya. Lord Krishna, so Mahaprabhu said, replying to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Krishna has bestowed his full mercy upon you so that all these things are known to you. Lord Krishna has bestowed his full mercy upon you so that all these things are known to you. For you, the threefold miseries certainly do not exist. Next verse. Since you possess Lord Krishna's potency, this is Mahaprabhu to Sanatana. Since you possess Lord Krishna's potency, you certainly know these things. However, it is the nature of a sadhu to inquire. Although the sadhu knows these things, he inquires for the sake of strictness. And then Mahaprabhu is quoting from the Naradiya Puran, Sanskrit verse. Quote, Sanskrit translation. Those who are eager to awaken their spiritual consciousness and who thus have unflinching, undeviated intelligence certainly attain the desired goal of life very soon. Now Mahaprabhu, so he quoted the verse, and then Mahaprabhu is still speaking to Sanatana Goswami. You are fit to propagate the cult of devotional service. Therefore, gradually hear all the truths about it from me. I shall tell you about them. Next verse, and I hope you know the translation for the first line and the second line. And first and second line. First line is Jivera Swarupa Hoya Krishnera Nitya Das Krishnera Tatashta Shakti Beda Bed Prakash. Then next two lines Suryangsha Kirana. I'm going to Suryangsha, part and parcel of the sun. Oh, okay. So this is about how a ray is part and parcel of the sun. Suryangsha Kirana Ch.Ch Agni Jvala Chaya Svabhavika Krishnera Tina Prakara Shakti Hoya. So Krishna has the three energies. Okay, translation. And this is Bengali, Mahaprabhu speaking. It is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because the living entity is the marginal energy of Krishna and a manifestation simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. Like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire, Krishna has three varieties of energy. Hare Krishna. Next verse again is a quotation. This is from the Vishnu Purana. Sanskrit in English. Just as the illumination of a fire, which is situated in one place, is spread all over, the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Para-Brahman, are spread all over this universe. Then Mahaprabhu speaking in Bangla, not quoting, saying, Lord Krishna naturally has three energetic transformations, and these are known as the spiritual potency, the living entity potency, and the illusory potency. And Devananda Prabhu knows all about illusion. He's a magician. And so in this world, and I've never seen Devananda Prabhu do magic tricks, but we have seen some very good magic tricks. And with Jagannath Swami, we are walking in one city in America, and we are walking in the pedestrian area, and there was a crowd around a table, and we just went and looked, a long table, and there was a man there, and really he did very good magic. And when a person can do magic like that, with everybody watching, and we're all watching, and we know it is illusion. He can't make an orange appear under a cup. He did this thing with like maybe 10 cups or something, and then he picks it up, there's an orange, he puts it down, and immediately picks it up, and there's a coin, things like this. How he does it with everybody watching from every angle, we don't know. Very convincing. But if a person can do such illusion, what about Krishna? He really can do very good illusion. So when you do your illusion tricks, you must remember Krishna. The source of all illusion is Krishna. Only by his potency can we baffle others to think this is reality. And the first time I ever came to London after being in India, so the first time ever coming to London after being in India, then anyway, some friends were asking about what did you learn in India, and I told them I learned some some mystical things in India. And I did a magic trick, which I did learn, by the way, but not from in India, but from others, while in India. And it's quite a good trick. Maybe I can do it with you and see if you can understand what's going on. But I do need a 20-pound note to do it with. Anyway, I learned this trick, but obviously it's completely magic, but I just said something. Yeah, in India they can make things disappear and appear. And so I did one of these tricks where you make something disappear, and I made some money disappear into my arm. There's a little trick. And anyway, then they're all like amazing. Oh, India is so amazing. Yes. Completely illusion. But anyway, illusion is illusion, and we know it is not reality. All right. So did I... Okay, so now the next verse, and so now this is a verse from Vishnu Purana also. Mahaprabhu is now quoting another verse. So, okay, 3 kinds of energy: the Supreme Lord, the living entities, and illusion. Okay, next verse, we'll read the Sanskrit. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetra Gyakya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Sangyanya Tritya Shakti Ishyate. Okay. Originally, Krishna's energy is spiritual. Originally, Krishna's energy is spiritual. And the energy known as the living entity is also spiritual. However, there is another energy called illusion, which consists of fruitive activity. That is the Lord's third potency. So that's a quote. And now Mahaprabhu is still quoting, and now he's quoting also from the Vishnu Purana, but a different place in the Vishnu Purana. So Sanskrit in English, and actually it sounds very familiar. I think this is one of the verses that our masters do repeat quite regularly. Shaktaya savabhavanam achintya jnana gocharaha jatoto brahmanastastu sargadya bhava shaktayaha bhavanti tapatang shreshta pavakasya yatoshnata. It sounds very familiar. Translation. So Mahaprabhu is quoting from the scripture to support what he's saying. All the creative energies which are inconceivable to a common man exist in the supreme absolute truth. These inconceivable energies act in the process of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. O chief of the ascetics, doesn't say who's speaking to who, but O chief of the ascetics, just as there are 2 energies possessed by fire, namely heat and light, these inconceivable creative energies are the natural characteristics of the absolute truth. And now another verse, also from the Vishnu Purana. And these have been explained, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, earlier in chapter 6 of Madhya Lila. Now we're in chapter 20 of Madhya Lila. Okay, so quotation in Sanskrit. O king, the Kshetragya Shakti is the living entity. Although he has the facility to live either in the material or the spiritual world, he suffers the 3-fold miseries of material existence because he is influenced by the avidya, nescience, potency, which covers his constitutional position. Still quoting. This living entity, covered by the influence of nescience, exists in different forms in the material condition. O king, he is thus proportionately freed from the influence of the material energy to greater or lesser degrees. And now, quoting from Bhagavad Gita, our constant friend. Everything is our constant friend, but Gita, constant friend. Gita, okay? The verse, apareyam itastvanyam prakriting vidhi me param jiva bhutang mahabaho jayedang dharyate jagat. Besides these inferior energies, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. They are indeed. Now, Mahaprabhu is speaking, but in Bengali. He's speaking, he's not quoting verses. Speaking to Sanatana Goswami, yes. Krishna bhuli, forgetting Krishna. Oh dear, ami bhul, I forgot. Bhul, very common word in Bengali. Krishna bhuli, say jiva, anadi bahir mukha, ataiva, therefore, maya tare deya sangsara dukkha. Oh dear. Forgetting Krishna, the living entity has been attracted by the external feature from time immemorial. Anadi bahir mukha. Therefore, ataiva, the illusory energy, maya, gives him all kinds of misery in this material existence. Why should anybody want to stay here? Only they could want to do that because they have no other news or information. That's why we must give news. News reached us. Now we must share that news. Kabu svarge, heaven, utaya, kabu narake, dubaya. Dandya jane, rajajena, nadite, shubhaya. So this, okay, in the material condition, the living entity is sometimes raised to higher planetary systems and material prosperity, and sometimes drowned in a hellish situation. His state is exactly like that of a criminal who a king punishes by submerging him in water and then raising him again from the water. That was done previously. And then just as he's about to, can't stay underwater any longer, pulls him up and then puts him back in the water again. Because he was being a naughty boy, so he needs some strong punishment. Next verse is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, given by, it is an instruction given by Kavi Rishi, one of the 9 saintly personalities called the 9 Yogendras. Okay, and from Srimad Bhagavatam. Quote, when the living entity is attracted by the material energy, which is separate from Krishna, he is overpowered by fear. Because he is separated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the material energy, his conception of life is reversed back to front. In other words, instead of being the eternal servant of Krishna, he becomes Krishna's competitor. This is called viparyayo smritihi. To nullify this mistake, one who is actually learned and advanced worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his spiritual master, the worshipful deity and source of life. He thus worships the Lord by the process of unalloyed devotional service. And you have shorter homework today because these purports are much shorter. But it is good to read them. Of course it is good to read them. But we are reading some. Okay, next verse, Mahaprabhu speaking Bengali. Sadhu Shastra Kripaya Jadi Krishnan Mukka Hoya Se Jiva Nistare Maya Tahare Charaya. Maya, to him, gives it up. Maya Tahare Charaya. Sadhu Shastra Kripaya Jadi Krishnan Mukha Hoya Se Jiva Nistare Maya Tahare Charaya. So, good to know who Maya gives up. Who does Maya give up? Mahaprabhu is speaking. It's Bangla, telling Sanatan listening. Because he said at the beginning, Shunna Sanatan, listen Sanatan, what I'm going to say. If the conditioned soul becomes Krishna conscious by the mercy of saintly persons who voluntarily preach scriptural injunctions and help him to become Krishna conscious, then the conditioned soul is liberated from the clutches of Maya, who gives him up. So what have you got to do?
Listening to you.
Ho, ho, ho. If a conditioned soul becomes Krishna conscious by the mercy of saintly persons who voluntarily preach scriptural injunctions and help him to become Krishna conscious, the conditioned soul is liberated from the clutches of Maya, who gives him up. And we need association. The books tell us this. Here, Mahaprabhu telling us this. This is always coming. Okay, Srila Prabhupada gave reasonably long purport. And then the last verse says, not the last verse, the last sentence says, after all the purport, this is all explained in the following verse from the Bhagavad Gita. And this verse, maybe you know, you've heard it probably hundreds of times. It's quite possible. Daivi yesha guna mayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etang tarantite. Quote from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaking to Arjuna, yes.
All varieties of religion.
Krishna speaking.
To Arjuna, give up all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me.
Yes, more or less, but this verse is about this energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Then Mahaprabhu speaking, he's quoted the verse and then speaking. Maya mukta jivera nahi svata Krishna jnana. Maya mukta, enchanted by the illusion, jivera nahi svata Krishna jnana. Jivere kripaya koila Krishna Veda Purana. The conditioned soul cannot receive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort. The conditioned soul cannot revive, his Krishna consciousness by his own effort. But out of causeless mercy, Lord Krishna compiled the Vedic literature and it supplements the Puranas. And then, Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanare Janana Krishna Mora Prabhu Trata Jivera Hoya Jnana. So, the forgetful conditioned soul is educated by Krishna through the Vedic literatures, the realized spiritual master and the super soul. Through these, he can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is. And he can understand that Lord Krishna is his eternal master and deliverer from the clutches of Maya. In this way, one can acquire real knowledge of his conditioned life and can come to understand how to attain liberation. And then, quoting from Gita in the purport, Ishvara savabhutanam hrideshe juna tishtati brahmayan savabhutana bhutani yatra rudhani mayaya. Quote, this is in the purport. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy.
Bhutani is what?
This is in the purport, Srila Prabhupada. It's
What means Bhutani?
Bhutan. Bhutanam, Sava Bhutanam. Savhrid. It's a good question. We'd have to go to the text. So we're not there at the moment. Ishvara Sava Bhutanam, because Hrid Deshe Juna Tishtati, staying in the heart. It's, yes, we'd have to do, I'll do homework, we'll do homework, and we'll see afterwards. We've got it in the word by word in the Gita. Ami Janina. Okay, of course, another wonderful purport, which includes Sava, Dharman, Parityaja, Mamikam Shanambrada. It's quite a long purport again. Sadhu, Shastra and Guru act as the representatives of Krishna, and the Krishna consciousness movement is also taking place all over the universe. Whoever takes advantage of this opportunity becomes liberated. So keep taking advantage of this opportunity. It is super opportunity. Okay, next verse, text number 124. Veda Shastra Kohe. Veda Shastra Kohe. Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Krishna Prapya Sambandha, Bhakti Praptyera Sadhana. And then the next verse, Abhideya Nama Bhakti, Prema Prayojana, Purushata Shiromani, Prema Mahadhana, the greatest treasure. So those two verses, almost you can understand it because you know most of these words, if not all. Prapya. Prapya means, give you the real meaning of prapya, to be awakened. So, okay. The Vedic literatures give information about the living entity's eternal relationship with Krishna, which is called Sambandha. So they give information about our relationship with Krishna, Sambandha. The living entity's understanding of this relationship and his acting accordingly, so doing, is called Abhideya. Returning home back to Godhead is the ultimate goal of life and is called Prayojana. Devotional service or sense activity for the satisfaction of the Lord is called Abhideya because it can develop one's original love of Godhead, which is the goal of life. This goal is the living entity's topmost interest and greatest wealth. Thus, one attains the platform of transcendental loving service unto the Lord. And with those two verses, we end here today, the reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And if we can, let's put this in our heart. Do, not only know, but do. Then, if we do that, we will get the destination. If we know how to go to, we're in England, where do you want to know how to go to? Bristol. If you want to know how to go to Bristol, and you know where is Bristol. Okay, first of all, you know where is Bristol in relation to yourself. then you learn how to go to Bristol. If you actually put into practice how to go to Bristol, look it up, take a bus to here, bus to there, catch the train, go to there. Then, if you do it, you'll go to Bristol. If you only sit and, I know how to go to Bristol, you won't go to Bristol, will you? So, this case, it's not Bristol, it's the highest goal, loving service to the Lord. This is the land of love, affection, beauty, sweetness, charm that Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada are always telling us about. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, and jai Srila Prabhupada, who's given us Chaitanya Charitamrita and the purports ki jai, and jai original source, in search of the original source, which we are also reading in the morning, so that we hear something from Srila Gurudev. And some mornings we'll be reading from other books, where we can hear something from Srila Guru Maharaj. And if we read from Guru Maharaj in the morning, please read from Srila Gurudev in the evening. If we read from Srila Gurudev in the morning, read something from Guru Maharaj in the evening. It is all our healthy, complete diet for all of you who calculate your smoothies and your vitamin A, D, F, Q, Y, and mix them all and say, I have to have a healthy diet. Well, here's your healthy diet. Okay, so Gurudev yesterday made us a bit sad to know where we live, and then he made us very happy to know that we don't have to live here. We have a home elsewhere. So yesterday was very beautiful, very inspiring. Let us see where Gurudev is taking us today. So what he's going to give us.
Maharaj, you were speaking about Krishna yesterday.
I was? I was very fortunate.
His grave.
His grave.
Do you remember?
Dhira, yes.
Yeah. So.
And Gambhir.
In which way Krishna is going to elaborate a little bit on that?
Of how is Krishna grave? Well, you know what is grave. If you meet a grave person, it means that they're deep and serious. It doesn't mean boring and, like that. I mean, sometimes somebody's grave, certainly the context here, doesn't mean grave like the headmaster of the school, who's like never smiles, got big bushy eyebrows, and got a stick in his hand. Not like that, but grave. And it's actually the word that was given the word by word translation yesterday was Gambhira. And Gambhira is like deeply unaffected by anything, you can say. So dignified graveness. I was going to say gravity, the same word. But gravity is, I don't mean gravity, the pull of earth, the pull of gravity, but gravity as in being grave. Grave is a dignified matter, not flippant. You can think the opposite of grave is being flippant, treating everything lightly and superficial. Opposite of superficial would be grave.
Like the Guru?
Like the Guru, yes. The Guru is not speaking nonsense, talking about, nonsense. How much description do you want to know what is nonsense? Turn on the television and find out.
Does it mean heavy, Guru, or something?
Yes. But the qualities of the Lord, and the devotees have some of the qualities of the Lord, but Krishna has 64 qualities, of which 4 are unique to him. Even Narayan and Ramachandra doesn't have them. And if you want to know about those qualities in more detail, read Religion of the Heart, compiled by Sripad Siddhanti Maharaj. Really, there he's listing them, right, chapter by chapter, from Gurudev. He's brought it together, Siddhanti Maharaj brought it together from Srila Gurudev's talks. And very wonderful description of Krishna's extra 4 qualities that I'm sorry, you don't have. There are some qualities we don't have. We accept, yes. But we have some qualities that Krishna does not have. How is that possible? We are subject to illusion. We are subject to cheating. We are subject to envy, lust, greed, anger. Just see Okay, we won't go there. We're going to read from Srila Gurudev. We only have a few minutes. The world is spinning, and it is spinning today. And some are spinning off the surface of the earth and landing in other places today, including Saraswati, myself, Devashish, and some others. You see? Many things happening. So we do want to read a few words, and actually I think Saraswati is leaving at 8. Is that correct?
I thought she said 8:30.
8:30, okay. Anyway, we'll try to finish punctually, because I was told to start at 7 and end at 8. So, Jai Srila Gurudev, Om Vishnu Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai and Jai. In search of the original source, the booklet we are reading from today. Continuing the reading from yesterday, we finished yesterday with Srila Gurudev saying, we want reality, and it is beautiful.
The Paran's not to 8:16 anyway, so. No rush.
Are you sure? Okay, for those in London, apparently the Paran is not. Paran means breaking fast with grains from a fasting day, when we've been fasting from grains. So the Ekadashi Paran and Dvadashi is after 8:16. A messenger, a Vishnu Duta, a messenger of the Lord just came and told us this. Okay, so we ended yesterday with Srila Gurudev saying, we want reality, and it is beautifully existing in our real home. There, everything is transcendental, everything is beautiful, harmonious, lovely, and affectionate. So that's where we ended yesterday. So continuing the theme, Gurudev quoting from Bhagavad Gita, our friend Bhagavad Gita. Yad gatva na nivatante tad dhamma paramang mama. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, quote, once you go there, it is not necessary to come back from that abode. You will not want to come back. You will be extremely satisfied. This is Gurudev telling the translation of that verse. And that's Krishna speaking. So it's Krishna saying, once you go there, it is not necessary to come back from that abode. You will not want to come back. You will be extremely satisfied. Then Gurudev saying, those who are not satisfied in this material world are trying to get liberation through renunciation. We have many things, but we have no happiness. Maybe we have no family life. And even if we have family life, there are so many difficulties. In this material world, we cannot expect to find satisfaction or fulfillment. It is impossible. Then we will try to search for that place where there is some possibility of eternity. If we try to understand this, we must go to the scriptures or the sadhu, who is the living scripture, whose experience, whose practicing life, and whose knowledge will give some good nourishment to us. Yes, Gurudev, this is why we've come to you. With the sadhu's association, we will try to search. But when the searching spirit will come to us, we must be on faithful ground. Faith is the main basis. There is no other way. We may be a person of any religious mood, but if we want to make progress in religion, we must first be faithful. As in Christianity, the first condition is that you must be faithful to the teachings. I read on the dollar bill in America, the dollar, in God we trust. So Gurudev got the dollar bill. In God we trust. Yeah. This is a very nice expression, to trust in God. You must first come into the faithful plane. You want eternity. You want a beautiful world. You want everything transcendental, but you will not give anything to God? Not anything for God? How will you get everything beautiful from such a hellish position? You don't want to give anything to God? That's like hellish, denying the Lord. Hell is where there's no God. I mean, it's almost just ABC. Where no God, that's hell. Where there is God, that's heaven. It's kind of child understanding, right? Something like that. But Gurudev, I mean, so sweet but so strong and clear. You want eternity. You want a beautiful world. You want everything transcendental. But you will not give anything to God. Not anything for God. How will you get everything beautiful from such a hellish position? Where you are living now is a hellish situation. But God is so merciful. He's giving so much love to you. His loving search for the lost servant is our wealth, not the wealth of God. Loving search for the lost servant is our property. But I must keep my faith in my religion. Otherwise, how shall I get it? It is impossible. In all the religions, the basis is faith. And here is the Lord coming to search for the lost servant. He comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is who we are worshipping. This is the Lord for Kali Yuga in the general sense, to give Yuga, the Yuga Dharma, everything, but in a specific sense, out of compassion for the fallen souls, coming to bring those who are hopeless in this world, no hope, only maybe little hope to live a few months longer with a new piece of the body which is failing. Okay, now we can take out your heart and give you a new heart. We can take out your stomach, give you a new stomach, kidney, give you a new liver, give you a new liver. But no hope, still hopeless. Ship is still going to sink. We're all going to be on the sinking ship. But we must go to the plane where Mahaprabhu is taking us, to the joyful world. We want eternity, we want joy, we want heaven. That is with Krishna, but we must give something to him. Okay. Okay, we should stop because we're meant to stop at 8. Anyway, then Gurudev is saying, I cannot see the rishi, I cannot see the rishis and munis. I cannot see the rishis and munis, referring to the ancient persons. I have not seen my own birth. Gurudev, I have not seen my own birth. My mother told me, he is your father. Then I believe it. Yes, he is my father. And I believe the government will give me my father's inheritance. Why? My mother said he is my father. And the father's property goes to the son. We're talking about India here. This is the way of India. This is the rule, and we all believe it. Only when it comes to believing in God, we are very unfortunate. Come to the faithful level and try from there. Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra. You are all the sons of nectar. You must search for Sri Krishna, reality the beautiful, and you will get everything. If you can enter into that transcendental abode, you will find 5 kinds of relationships with the Lord. There is some procedure, and it is an easy procedure. There is some procedure, and it is an easy procedure. Many spiritual things are revealed to us. It is only necessary for us to have some searching tendency and chastity. Without chastity and without a searching tendency, How will we get it? We can spend this life any way we choose. I sometimes tell people that they have some holidays, but I have no holidays. I have a holiday when I can discuss Krishna consciousness. That is my holiday. Okay. Oh, okay, dear devotees, going over time, but we're near the end of the chapter. Krishna said in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Matras pashashtu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukha daha agamapayino nityas tam stitikshasva bharata. You have happiness, sadness, disease, beauty, everything. But they are not eternal. Only for the time being they will be with you. The sun is rising and then setting. Night is coming, then passing. Again the sun is rising. This is the nature of the material world. We see everything. But if we will give a little time to understand what is what, easily we can understand it. There are various paths in front of us. Many religious personalities and many religious books are existing in front of us. They do not want anything from us. What does Lord Jesus want from us? He wants us to submit to our Lord. That is his expression for us. You are all sons, you are all the sons of God. Give your obeisance, give your faith, give your love, give your everything to him. So that's kind of what Jesus said. So Jesus has shown us how to deal with each other. It is very near to Vaishnavism. Christianity is very near to what we are practicing. I read Solomon's songs. Actually, I read the Solomon songs too, Gurudev. I mean, literally, in the little house behind the lady's house. I read Solomon's songs, but of course, Gurudev also read it. I'm not saying that didn't read it also. But I read Solomon's songs, and I was surprised by what I found there. I read the Bible also, but Solomon's songs are very attractive. They attracted me because in our Vaishnava religion, you will get 5 kinds of relationship with the Lord. And there is a similar idea presented in Solomon's songs. I didn't know about Solomon's songs before. It's part of I think it's part of the Old Testament, but it's there in the Bible, New or Old. This is not expressed, maybe it's separate, I do not know. I'm no authority on Christianity, on the scriptures or anything. But it's all connected in the Christianity religion. This is not expressed so much in the Bible, so it's not expressed so much in the Bible, but in the Srimad Bhagavatam, other Puranas, Vedanta, Upanishad, all the Vedic scriptures declare that the Lord is Ch.Ch Ananda Vigraha. He has an eternal, spiritual, cognizant form of ecstasy, not like mine. Gurudev saying, I didn't add that, not like mine. My form is material. I cannot grasp what is material and what is spiritual. Therefore, real knowledge remains hidden from me. Many religions have manifested in this world, but having seen our position, having seen how much we can conceive and how much we can digest, the religious teachers have preached accordingly, according to the capacity of those they're preaching to. Okay, last paragraph. From 5,000 years ago, the research scholars tell us that God has form, and he is Sat-Chit Ananda Vigraha, as we just heard. He is the creator of all creation. He has a brain, he has a face, he has everything. His form is like our human form, but it is not human. He is Krishna. He is always attracting our mind. We can join within his eternal pastimes. We can have a relationship with Krishna as our friend rather than as our God. There are 5 kinds of relationships we can keep with the Lord. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhura. We can play with the Lord through our love. If my Lord will play football with me, what sweet feelings will come to me? How sweetly they will come. Thus ends this chapter of In Search of the Original Source. And what sweet deliverance from our sweet masters. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. The assembled devotees are now going to chant Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, because my time is up and I need to be with the devotees for a few minutes, because time nor tide waits for no man. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Radhi Madhusudan. Giri Hari Gopinath
Chaitamrita ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Jai Gautama Namade.